Today I'm going to be talking about how to play Ken in Smash Ultimate and give you guys a basic to intermediate level guide on how to play this character. I'm going to be talking about every single one of his moves and as well the basic playstyle of Ken in my own personal opinion. Now I should also mention right here that I can't go over everything that is super high tech with Ken. Ken's one of those characters that has a ton of potential, a ton of combos, just a ton of other random stuff. And I can only really right here give you guys the basics on this character because even those will take quite a while to get through. With that in mind, just knowing the basics will be more than enough to start playing the character, to start doing well with him. And then later on, once the meta kind of develops a bit more, you can put a lot of time to learning the stuff past that, which you'll probably be able to find down below in the Ryu and Ken Discord. Now, as well, I want to say right here, I am going to be mentioning the true Shoryuken, the true Hadoken, and, you know, his other true moves. And if you want to know how to do those, as well, I'm going to link a guide in the description below. I don't really want to have to spend that much time on that because I feel like there are just a lot of other resources. So I'm going to link that there. And of course, those are very useful moves to know how to do, and I'm going to be mentioning them a lot, so please put a little bit of time into that before we start this. With that all said, let's get started. So if we're going to be talking about Ken in general, I feel like he's a character that is somewhat aggressive, that does a lot of damage, that has a lot of kill potential, and that has a lot of combo potential. He's like one of those characters where in the future he could be so stinking good if you can master him, or if you got a few buffs that can make his moves kind of connect a little bit better. But right now it's just kind of good enough. I wouldn't say that Ken is awful, but I wouldn't say that Ken is, you know, really necessarily amazing as well. Ken's one of those characters that has just a little bit of everything. He has a good amount of range, he has a good amount of damage, he has a decent enough projectile, he has a decent enough counter, a good get off me move, and I guess a good engage move. He's overall just pretty good at everything. As well, I should mention, of course, he has a thing where he's always looking at his opponent, which is good and bad in different ways. And as well, you can use down air and cancel that into stuff like your side B, or down air into true Shoryuken, or even to Hadoken. There's a lot of different options. Any of your aerials can cancel, but down air is usually the easiest one to hit into other stuff. He's a pretty decently fast character, around the middle of the speed, a little bit below that. Unfortunately, they did this weird thing where they actually just gave Ken essentially Ryu's speed from the last game, but a little bit faster, and made Ryu slower in this game comparatively to everyone else. So that kind of sucks. I wish Ken was a little bit quicker, but he's fast enough to kind of get the job done. Has a really good weight, which is nice. He's going to be living for a long time. Good general damage, good general knockback. His hitboxes are a little bit small on this game compared to a lot of the other top tier characters, but versus most characters, he does pretty darn well. As far as the general playstyle, he's a character that kind of wants to get in and out, that wants to dodge a lot of his opponent's attacks, and then hit them with some of his own, either be it quick attacks, or be attacks that have a lot of invulnerability, or just kind of break through whatever his opponent's doing, and then start up a combo from there, start up getting damage from there, and then go in. He's a character that can't just really jump in all the time, because while he does have stuff like Nair, it can be punished, forward air can be punished, side B can be punished, down B can be punished. But if you play well, and if you aren't autopiloting, if you're using your moves to the best of your ability, he really can pull off some amazing stuff. And of course, Ken's, in my opinion, probably one of the coolest characters to look at and to watch. He has some of the coolest videos on YouTube, so that's a really cool thing as well. With that all in mind, let's move on to his tilts. So I was going to talk about the tilts first, but I realized that actually the specials are probably the most important thing to talk about first because most of the tilts lead into the specials and they'd be pretty confusing without knowing those. Anyways, here we are talking about the specials. Now, as you can see on the screen right here, this is how to do all the inputs for the specials. You will have to know how to do a few of the inputs to even use a few of the special moves. And of course, you know, on the screen is exactly how to do those. Now, as well as I mentioned right here, every special has either just the press the B button or do the input, for this example, by pressing down and then forward. So the true version or the regular version, which is pretty cool. Side B as well has a version of this, does a little bit more damage. Oh, come on. Very nice. And as well, even Shoryuken, 20% versus 24%. So it just does a bit more damage and a little bit more knockback as well, making so that essentially you always want to use the true version, except for in a few certain situations. Now, this is kind of annoying because sometimes you'll be wanting to use an aerial, and if you use the A button, you could accidentally use this, or you could accidentally Hadoken or anything. Kind of a pain. So honestly, if you are playing this character and if you're using an aerial, use the C stick every single time, because then you won't make a mistake. You won't accidentally be using A and, you know, kill yourself with an accidental Shoryuken off the stage or something. Do make sure to use the C stick in that situation, just as a reminder. Yeah, that is kind of how in general those work. Anyways, talking about his specific moves, first off we have the Hadoken, and do keep in mind this video might be kind of long because this guy has so many moves, and he has two versions of every move, so really sorry about that. Anyways, the Hadoken, I guess that's why pretty much no one makes videos about Ryu and Ken. A little difficult to talk about. Anyways, Hadoken first off has either neutral B version or the true version. Now the nice thing about this is that you can either just press it or you can hold it. The press version will go pretty short. This can be nice if your opponent's off stage and you just want to essentially put them in a bad situation where, you know, if they jump, they get ran into this. And if they don't, well, you can just hit your opponent. Pretty nice, and the held version can be a pretty nice far-range projectile. Problem is, it doesn't do that much damage. Mainly it's just for forcing your opponent that doesn't want to approach to come towards you. Now, unfortunately, most characters can just straight up shield this pretty easily, which is not the greatest. And as well, it takes you forever to put up your shield or to do anything out of the Hadoken, which kind of sucks. You can use it in the air as well. But it does just force people to come towards you. But unfortunately, most people can actually just punch straight through the Hadoken, and most projectiles also go through it for some reason, which is really dumb. But, you know, at least a character like this that's so close range has a projectile. Not the worst thing in the world, and, you know, a usable move. And again, you have the bigger version. Now, most of the time, people actually just use the B version of this because it's not that great of a projectile anyways. Most of the time, if you want it out, you want to make sure that you're getting it out 100% of the time. So pressing B can be a little bit more consistent. As well, you can B reverse by pressing B and then the other direction in the air. So, you know, that's kind of nice. You can also do that with the input, but I honestly don't really understand exactly how. So this is probably the more honest way and easy way to do it. Moving on, we have a side B. Now, the side B as well does have the two different versions. This version does 14%, and this version does 16%. So a little bit of extra damage. That's kind of the only difference with those ones as well. As well, you can either just tap it and you'll go a little bit, or you can hold it and you'll go, you know, of course, all the way across the stage. And this move is overall pretty decent because, one, it can allow you to cover a lot of space. The hitbox isn't that great of this move, which kind of sucks. Most people can just punch right through it, but it covers a lot of space. And as well, if you, like, hit your opponent and then you go for this, like, let's say I just, you know, hit him twice and then go for this, then I push for my opponent really close to the corner. From there, I can use stuff like down tilt, down smash, even Hadoken, put my opponent into a lot of bad situations, get him with a downer. So that's pretty good. This gives you a lot of corner pressure with the side B, similarly to his back throw. Just a lot of corner pressure, or putting your opponent into the corner, more like it. And that's really, really cool. As well, you can jump in side B and it'll let you go really high with it, so that's nice. One thing I should mention right here, if you're using side B as a recovery tool, which you'll often use as the first recovery tool, you want to make sure that you're pressing side B, not doing the input, because sometimes you could be trying to do the input and let's say I accidentally do it wrong, and then there we go, we got a Hadoken and now I'm all the way down here and now I'm dead. So instead, just press it. It doesn't go any further doing the input. It just does a little bit more damage, and who cares about getting damage when you're just trying to get back onto the stage, especially when Ken's doesn't really ever kill. Ryu's, you could argue, is maybe worth doing because, you know, it can kill, and if your opponent hits you and they, you know, they happen to miss and get hit by your side B, you can kill them. Ken's doesn't really have that luxury. So yeah, just press side B. It's way better in that situation. Of course, as I was saying earlier, you can do other stuff like nair into this. And in this situation, as you just saw, I'll be put right here. My opponent's close to the wall. I should mention that you don't actually have like any true combos off of side B. So your opponent in this situation can shield, can spot dodge, can do a lot of stuff. But the thing that's good for Ken is that Ken is super good close up, and his jab comes out like frame 1 or 2, frame 2. I think his down tilt frame 2, and then his up tilt frame 3. Two of them are frame 2, and one is frame 3. So yeah, you can essentially just attack the second after you get out of the side B, just by mashing A in a direction, and then start up a combo from there, or put your opponent even further off stage, or just get more damage. So yeah, side B does lead into good situations, even though it doesn't true combo that well. Like, they're in a really bad situation now, and sometimes you can lead side B, and if you can just keep reading your opponent, you can get a lot of damage. So that's kind of in general how that move works. Moving on, we have down B. Now, down B in this game got nerfed a lot from the last game, which really sucks. First off, it can tank a certain amount of damage before it breaks, so it's essentially just a counter that can tank one hit. Multi-hits go straight through it, which kind of sucks. But anyways, it can tank a certain amount of damage. I think it's around 14 to 16, but the problem is in this game, a lot of people's aerials were made stronger, so now they can just straight up break through your down B, which really does suck. I don't know why they didn't buff the down B's endurance. Really, really sucks. But, you know, it's still alright. It can block a lot of moves, and a lot of people, when they're trying to hit you from above, or when you're above them, I guess, you can dodge back and forth by double tapping right or left. Really allow you to change up your movement as well. If you're doing this, you can, like, you know, go all over the place. That's nice. It can block that hit to make you get a little bit harder to be juggled, which is great. And as well, though, if you happen to land with it, sometimes it can cancel most of the lag if you're landing with the hit, so that's kind of cool. I should also mention, if you do use it, you always want to, if you hit your opponent, let's say, you always want to double tap right or left, because you can dash out of it and then you can use your attack. If you just try to use down B and then like mash A, it takes you a long time to get to your attack, while if you dash out of it, it's a little fast. So that's kind of an interesting thing to keep in mind. On the last game, you used to be able to hit your opponent in the air with a level 1. I should have mentioned right here, has a level 1, a level 2, and a level 3. The level 1 used to be able to combo really well. It doesn't anymore for some reason, so just expect if you hit it, just they'll be hit. Does a good amount of damage. That's kind of it. The level 2 can actually put your opponent down on the ground. Most of the time, you'll go into true Shoryuken, and probably into like a down air true Shoryuken, which I'm not honestly that great at. I'm gonna be honest here, but you can go like down air or down tilt into true Shoryuken, so that's nice. And as well, you got level 3, which then you can double tap out of, and then go into down air true Shoryuken. Again, I think that I've not put much time to. There we go. You can kind of see what I was going for, but anyways, downer, you know, whatever. You can see the general what I'm saying. But yeah, the different levels. Level 3 does break through a shield. Level 2 does a lot of damage to shield. And level 1 just happens to deal a decent amount of damage to shield. Overall, it's an alright counter type move that can help you in a good amount of situations. But I wish it was a little bit better. It's just kind of okay. Finally, we have Shoryuken. This move I like a lot. Now, it has 3 different versions of the move. And it also has the true and the untrue version of the move by doing the input and not. So it is like a lot of stuff to keep in mind. But anyways, the untrue version, let's start off by talking about what you do by just pressing up B. And as well, I should mention down B doesn't have an inputted version. You only have down B, and then you can jump out of it. So yeah, keep that in mind. Anyways, up B, you can either press up B once for a second and get the really short one. So there we go. You can get right in the middle, which I did on my first try, and it's like it's a 2-frame window. You can get a medium one, which goes a medium distance, obviously, and then you can hold it and get the highest one, which does the most damage and goes the most distance and has the most knockback. Now the small one, of course, is the best if you want just a quick anti-air to get your opponent off you, and you don't really want to risk way too much, but most of the time you're just going to be going for the full Shoryuken. Now, I should also mention, right there's the medium. For some reason, if you happen to hit like a downer and then a true Shoryuken, the medium actually does more knockback, and the medium will kill a lot earlier, and I think it's just because it was badly programmed, but if you can like do like a downer up here, and then you land on your opponent, and then you do true Shoryuken, like this, if you got the medium one, it would actually do a ton more knockback, and especially around like 100%, it'll just straight up kill. Because normally the aerial Shoryuken actually does less knockback than the grounded one, but the medium one doesn't really do that much less knockback. So keep that in mind. The medium true Shoryuken and even Shoryuken is really broken. It's really good, but there's only a 2-frame input to do it, so that kind of sucks. But anyways, there we go. Those are the 3 versions. Of course, as I was showing earlier, you can link a lot of stuff into it, like jab jab up B, and you know, up tilt up B, or up tilt. Or like up tilt, held up tilt, up B, or down throw, up air. I think he might be at too low % right now. Down throw, up air, up B. Tons of different moves that can lead into this. I think even down tilt goes into true Shoryuken. Yeah. A lot of times you want to try to figure out combos that don't use true Shoryuken because you don't want to stall it out and make sure that it kills later. But it does do a ton of damage. So, you know, it's all right. But yeah, those are the 3 different versions. Of course, you can do that as well with the input. As you saw, the medium, the light, and the heavy. Now, most of the time as well, of course, you want to use the true input just because it does more damage. And as well, the true input actually has, what's it called? I think it's invulnerability or invincibility on startup. So if your opponent uses an attack and you use this immediately, like out of shield, well, you know, too bad for them. It is really awkward to do, but you can. Most of the time out of shield, though, you will just press up B because it's a lot easier to do. It won't kill as early, but it is probably an easier way to get out of shield with that. But yeah, up B or the true Shoryuken is just, you know, amazing. It does kill really early for a move that comes out so fast and that also has invulnerability. Now, it doesn't kill nearly as early as it did in the last game, which kind of sucks, and Ken's kills even later than Ryu's. So like Ryu's used to kill at like 80% against a lot of characters. Ken's doesn't really anymore. Now it's usually around 90 to 100%. Now, it's still not that bad because you can link stuff like jab jab, true Shoryuken, or down tilt or up tilt. You have a lot of quick ways to get into this, but it is a little disappointing it doesn't kill as early. Ken's does do a good amount of damage though, so, you know, it kind of balances out itself a little bit. Anyways, moving on, let's talk about the 2 moves that just Ken has that Ryu doesn't have. First off, starting with the crescent kick. Now, you probably saw this earlier from the list of moves, but how you do this move is that you don't press side B, you don't press up B, you don't press down B. None of those work. Instead, you have to do forward down and then press A, which is really awkward, essentially just the exact opposite of doing Hadoken. But it's really good because it can lead into, also a lot of the times you'll accidentally use this, which kind of sucks, but you know, it's not the worst move to use in the world, so it's not that bad. But anyways, forward down, and then this leads straight, if they're at the right %, into an F smash. And that is so good, because you can do stuff like nair, jab jab, F smash at certain %, and just straight up kill your opponent. And that's amazing. Now, there's actually a chart on, you know, all the different combos it can do. But honestly, I don't remember all of them because there's so much. But there's some really nice stuff you can do. As well, you can, of course, cancel a lot of your moves. Go like jab into... Oh, if I can even do this. There we go, jab into that. And as well, I should say, it has a heavy version. So if you hold it, it'll do that. Or there's a light version. The heavy version is pretty much identical to your jab, though, so don't really do that much. The light version is the one that combos really well, so you want to make sure you're using that one. So you just hold it really quickly. Anyways, yeah, it has jab into that. As well, you can go like jab, jab. If I can get this right here, jab, jab into this. And then if you do the light version, let's just do the light version, you can actually run up, grab, and then like up air, up B, or forward air if you just want to get that as well. if you don't want to stall your up B. So those are all the things that thing can do. This move's really good. I should mention that it's not that great in the neutral. None of these moves are that great in the neutral. They're okay. But the problem about it is that it doesn't have the most range, and it doesn't really beat that many moves. It's just kind of a really good combo extender off of your jab, off your tilts, and even sometimes off of your nair. So those are some things to keep in mind. Finally, we have this move, which I don't even remember the name of this move. It's a really, really weird name. But anyways, it's essentially like your jab or the held version of the crescent kick, but like an even more powerful version. Now, as well, you can just do the other version, which is just a pretty good anti-air, which can kill pretty early. I also struggle finding a situation to use this way too much, but, you know, it's pretty nice. And how you do this is you actually hold left, down, so like left, down, down, so left, down, down, right, right. Essentially just a whole half circle from the left to the right, which is really, really awkward. What's nice about it, though, is that if your opponent's shielding, it'll just like almost break their shield by itself if you're doing the heavy version. As well, you know, it's okay in other situations, but that's really the main situation. As you see right there, it does a ton of damage. Sometimes you can get stuff like a nair into down tilt into that. So you could go for all that. For myself personally, I don't really know how to optimize this move way too much. I don't even know what it's called exactly, but it can have a lot of potential in the future. I'd probably wait for a little bit to focus more on it, but yeah, it's mainly just used as an all-right anti-air, and as well as just a move to sometimes kill, sometimes rack on a little bit of damage on it. With that said, though, guys, let's move on to the tilts now that we kind of have this all out of the way. So the first tilt we're going to be talking about is his jab, and as you know, every other move he has 2 versions of all of his tilts, which is pretty cool. So you can either press the buttons or you can hold them. Now the thing to keep in mind is that for the most part, you're going to be either using the light buttons into a special move, or you're going to be using the light buttons into a heavy version of the button by holding it. So tap, 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 hold, and then you hold a special move right after that because it can actually cancel into that. So that's a really good example. And jab, as I was showing you earlier, can go into stuff like side B. So that's pretty cool. As well, though, let's just talk about jab. The heavy jab, as I said earlier, is essentially just a pretty good anti-air move. It kicks right in front of him. It does okay shield damage. I honestly don't use this way too much, but you know, those are kind of the main 2 uses for it. Also, if you're really close to your opponent and you press A, it'll actually just happen like just neutral A. It'll do your up tilt, which I don't know why they changed it to do that, but it does. So that's kind of weird. I guess it's a little safer on shield than regular jab, and then you can combo it straight into up B. It's a little awkward, and kind of wish they didn't do that, because you know, if I wanted up tilt, I'd just do up tilt. But whatever, that's what they decided to do. So there we go. That's the held jab. As well, of course, we have tap, 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 the 3-hit. You almost never do the 3-hit though, because why would you do that? Would you do like, oh, tap, tap, up B? Way more damage. Or as well, you can do like nair, jab, jab, side B, and then they're in a bad situation. Nair, jab, jab, and then just continue hitting them from there. Jab, super good. I think it's frame 2 or 3. I think this is also frame 2 or 3, and this is also, so that's really, really good. Super fast tilts, and while they don't have that much range, you know, it's good enough. But yeah, jab, super fast, leads into a ton of damage. Honestly, probably one of the better jabs in the game. Just wish it had a bit more range, but you know, it's pretty good. And of course, a high percent leading jab, jab into Shoryuken is just one of the best kill confirms as well. Like even at this percent, there we go. Jab 1 into Shoryuken. What could you hate about that? That's just a nice thing overall. Moving on, let's talk about his forward tilt. Honestly, this is the one that I think is kind of the most disappointing from Ken. You can use it as a poke tool, but it's kind of just all it is. As well, I know that there's some stuff where you can go like the crescent kick into forward tilt and it kills a certain percents. I don't know that percent very well, but I know there's potential with that, so you can kind of play around with that if you want to. Just kind of an okay kick though, not too much to say about it. Moving on, we have this forward tilt. Most of the time you use your down tilt instead of your forward tilt, by the way. Moving on, we have this forward tilt, which punches in front of him, kills at decent percents, doesn't combo into anything though, and can't really be canceled into anything. And I think even this can't really cancel into much, yeah. So it's kind of unfortunate. I guess you could go for Hadoken, I don't know. But yeah, this is also not the best. Overall, this just tilts aren't that great. As you saw with Ryu, his held forward tilt was a shield breaker, and in order to do shield breaker, it's just either held A, or mainly it's the half circle downwards. That does about the same amount of damage as Ryu's forward collarbone breaker. So there we go. It's all right. Not my favorite though. Moving on, we have his down tilt. Down tilt is super nice because it has a ton of range, comes out super fast, and can oftentimes poke through people's shields. As you see though, you can just go like down tilt, down tilt, down tilt, down tilt, heavy down tilt, and then do like a neutral B, or do the same thing and do something like down. Oh, come on. Like spam A, do a side B. There's a lot of different options off of this. But if I do the, if I hold into side B, it automatically does a Hadoken. So that's a little weird how the inputs work right there. Little weird. There we go. Side B, and then continue the pressure up from right there. Overall, just a really good move because it has a ton of range. Now, I should mention right here, if you use the C-stick, you can only do it so fast. If you do it too fast, doesn't work. Just doesn't even do anything. It just throws out Hadoken. I don't know why. But yeah, you can't just tap it really fast. If you want to tap it fast, you have to mash the A button. So you can run around, hold down, and then do these every once in a while. But if you want super fast, you have to like tap it with the C-stick and then keep holding down and keep pressing A. Super awkward, but that's just kind of how that works. Down tilt though, of course, really nice, good poke tool, and heavy down tilt and do the special moves I was saying. Up tilt's pretty much the same thing except for less range, but hits people in the air. It's a lot worse than the last king because I think the hitbox is worse, and as well people can just move around a lot more, a lot less good as a defensive option. But it does apply a lot of pressure on shield, and you can mix it up into things like grab, you can mix it up into side B, you can mix it up even to like Hadoken to kick someone, and as well you can oftentimes go like heavy, and go into that on someone's shield, the shield breaker, so, you know, the half circle move. And that'll do really well on someone's shield, so that's nice. As well, up tilt into something like the, there we go, into F smash. That also works really well. Or, you know, like up tilt, held up tilt, up B. That's a pretty good kill move as well, or a pretty good kill confirm as well, because you only need to hit the last hit of Ken's up B for to do the full knockback. While somebody like Ryu, you have to hit the first part of it. So that's really cool. So yeah, that's up tilt, down tilt. And finally finishing off, we have dash attack. Dash attack's just kind of okay. It doesn't really lead into anything as far as combos go, if that was what you were hoping for, but it can kill at later percents quite a bit later, and it is a really good risk, a really high risk move because it's not safe at all on shield, but it does kill at decently well percents, not even too close to the wall. There we go. So, you know, there we go. Good kill move, can shield, dash attack. That's kind of how it goes. It has a bad hitbox that will just hit your opponent out. All right, move. Not too much to say about that. Let's move on to his aerials. So this section should be a lot easier to talk about because Ken only actually has one version of all his aerials. You can't like hold them and get a second aerial. You can just use them in one way. So that's really nice for us. And as well, I should mention though, you can cancel his aerials into specials, but for the most part, the only aerial that cancels that well is down air and sometimes up air. Up air is really hard to hit. If someone's above you with up air, probably the easiest thing to do is like down throw, up air, up B. But all the other moves can cancel into specials, but most of the time they don't really. So as you see, if you just hold a special right after you use the move, after you hit your opponent with the move, sorry, you'll immediately use a special, but most of the time they don't really hit way too well, except for like down air, which leads into a ton of crap. Anyways, starting off with this forward air, this thing's alright. They actually, I think, buffed the damage in the last patch, or not the damage, they buffed the landing lag, so it's a little bit better now. It does a good amount of damage if you hit your opponent at the foot. The other part of the attack is just alright. I think it also does a little bit more knockback. So, you know, whatever. It's a move that just can kind of be used in front of you, can kill off the edge pretty early. Yeah, has a really bad hitbox, as you saw right there, if you hit really late. Now, the problem is that earlier on, actually, no, never mind. So yeah, if you hit your opponent really early on, you can actually hit them into different combos off of the bad forward air. Doesn't have that much shield pressure, but, you know, that's pretty nice. And if you hit the good forward air, you can keep on hitting them. There used to be some forward air combos like that could work a little bit later on, but they still seem to be working okay. So you can go forward air, and landing forward air is kind of what you mainly do. As far as forward air spacing, usually you want to space with back air instead of forward air because it's a little bit safer, but this move was buffed with a safety, so it actually might be about as safe in this game. Pretty basic kick in front of you forward air that can kill at decent percents though. Moving on, we have his back air. Now, the problem about this move is that you're always facing your opponents. The easiest way to do it is to just jump over your opponent and go for a reverse back air. This move does more damage and more knockback than forward air, but takes a little bit longer to come out. But the problem is, like, hey, I'm looking the other way now. So what we have to do is run towards your opponent, jump the other way, and then go for a back air. And most of the time, you'll have to, like, wait for a second and then go for it. That's really safe on shield, though. Does a ton of damage, ton of pressure. Can sometimes combo at low percents, like into even like grab into other stuff like a forward air, which is great, but you do have to turn around every single time you want to use it, and a lot of times you will just not turn around, so that's kind of awkward about him. You just have to get used to that, but it is a great poking tool because it can just do so much damage and so much knockback. And I'll show you right here, it can kill super stinking early. I don't want 3 wolves. Here we go. This is a lot of percent actually. There we go. But it'll kill really early. It kills around like 100% near the ledge with rage. Even without rage, you can kill stupidly early. Really good move for that. Moving on, we have his Nair. Nair is honestly probably one of Ken's best moves, and they buffed it in the last patch, so I don't really know exactly what it can do now because it probably has even more stuff that it can do. It was already ridiculous though in the past though. But anyways, Nair is like a Sheik Pharaoh almost with its landing lag and startup. It's super quick and super fast. Really safe even on shield. You just have to make sure to space it really well. think it might even be plus on shield. I'm not sure, but it's very good on shield. And then, of course, you can lead into a ton of other moves. You can go, like, Nair into grab. You can go, like, Nair into any of your specials, pretty much as I was showing you earlier. Sometimes you can get, like, late hit Nair into, like, an up smash. Sometimes late hit Nair into something like a down smash. Tons of damage. This move is just, like, super, super safe. And honestly, probably one of the moves that you're going to be using the most. As well, if you're in shield, you can jump Nair pretty early or pretty quick and help you get a lot of bad situations. It doesn't have the biggest hitbox. In some cases, it can feel a little like a weirder versions of Wolf Nair that can be worse and can be better in different situations. But it starts up a lot of combos and puts your opponent into a lot of bad situations. So that's probably one of the moves you're going to be using the most. And moving on, we have down air. Now, this can actually spike people off the cliff, of course. So that's kind of nice. But other than that, you know, it's just all right. Like, you can go, like, up tilt, down air. So that's really cool. Later percent like up tilt, jump, down air. I might try to show that if I can. Finally, we have up air. This move is actually probably better than Ryu's now. Ryu's up air was great in the last game, but they kind of gutted it, so that sucks. But, you know, it has a good amount of range, has a good, not a good amount of damage, but good enough damage, can combo into itself really easily. And this is also one of those moves you can actually combo into Shoryuken pretty easily, which I didn't mention. But yeah, this is great. You don't really land with it way too much, though. Mainly just use it either if your opponent's above you, or you use it in true combos. That's kind of the two main places where up air is just super, super good. As well, a lot of times off of grab, you go like up air into true Shoryuken. Now, the problem is that you have to make sure that you press the input immediately after, otherwise it won't come out. Like the second after you hit the move to get the cancel. But yeah, up air can also do that really well. And, you know, hitting your opponent above you and going for up air. Pretty cool. Not way too much else to say about this move. I wish it was a little bit bigger of a hitbox and hit a bit further down. Because against small characters, it doesn't really work. But against other characters, it works fine. With that in mind, let's move on to his smashes. So this video's taken forever, but anyways, let's talk about the first smash, that being forward smash. Forward smash is really, really nice. It has a bad hitbox right here, which doesn't kill for a long time, like into like 140% or something. Really, really bad. But it also has a good hitbox that kills on the tip of his foot quite early. You even almost killed at 60%, so that's nice. The nice thing about this, though, as I said earlier, is that you can go stuff like quarter circle down into F smash. There you go. Crescent kick, F smash. They're dead. A lot of percents it isn't true, but a lot of percents people don't really know what else to do and don't really see it coming. So that's great. You can even go like jab, 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 quarter circle down. I probably can't do it right now. Like jab, quarter circle down, F smash. You can see the potential. Down tilt, quarter circle down, F smash. A lot of potential moves if you put it all down and learn how to do it. But yeah, overall, just one of those moves. And as well, it is pretty quick and pretty safe on shield if hit out the corner. So make sure to space this move. Other than that, just kind of a regular F smash. As far as that goes. Moving on, we have his down smash. This is probably one of his best moves, honestly. Super safe on shield. Or like, your opponent can't really hard punish you, considering that it also does like 20%. So, yeah. It's kind of ridiculous. For a lot of his highest damages combos, they end with an F smash at early, or down smash at early percents, because it's like 20% comes out, I think, frame 9 or so. 8 or 9. And you can go even like stupidly easy stuff like the jab, jab, just like nair, down smash. And there we go. 26%. Like zero effort put in, run back and forth, down smash. Really, really good in the boxing range. And while it doesn't really kill ever, it just gives you a good amount of damage and probably one of the better down smashes. And it doesn't actually hit behind you that much. But it doesn't really matter because if you get behind your opponent, you'll auto turn the second that they get behind you. So, you know, it doesn't really matter too much. You're good. You got the auto turn mechanic on your side. That move, super, super good. Continuing, we also have up smash. Now, this is a great move. I should have mentioned this about his up tilt. His up tilt, the held one, has a lot of invulnerability or invincibility. I don't remember what it is, but it beats a lot of aerials. It has a huge hitbox above it like that. Up smash pretty much does the same thing, but has a lot bigger of a hitbox in front of him. An up smash, like up tilt, kills really early, but up smash, of course, kills even earlier. So I think it might kill a little bit past that. There's a few combos into up smash as well. I don't really use them too much, though. Most of the time, I just use up smash if I see my opponent coming in, and I don't really want to risk a Shoryuken, because maybe that's a little too unsafe. Up smash isn't that unsafe on the aerial moves, and it can still kill, as you see, pretty darn early, even without rage. That's kind of all that move does, though. Good anti-air, and that's kind of all it really needs to do. With that said, though, guys, let's move on to his grabs. So, first off, we got his up throw. Honestly, this thing doesn't really lead into much at all. I don't even think it combos like pretty much at any percent. Maybe it combos into up air. Yeah, doesn't even combo into up air near 0%. So, I mean, you can go for this, but you probably shouldn't. So that's all I'm going to say about that move. Forward throw, put your opponent in front of you. And then from there, they're going to be near the ledge. Oftentimes near the ledge, you can actually just go for stuff like a down tilt right here, which will cover pretty much every single option, which is great because if they roll, they'll get hit. If they do an attack, they'll get hit. You can shield it and then hit them. Use a down smash. That's the thing I didn't mention, but I think that's really good about this character for ledge guarding. But yeah, forward throw just gets your opponent off the ledge. Not really way too much to say about that. It doesn't really kill. Back throw is good because, as you see, you roll so far. And while it doesn't really kill that well, like it kills all right. I think it doesn't kill for a while though. Like until like 180 or something. It kills all right. But the main thing is that it puts your opponent so far off stage. And while you can't really go out and edge guard them, you do put yourself in a good situation where now you can use up tilt, you can use down tilt, you can use all your moves to just hit your opponent off the stage again until you can finally kill them. And back throw just gives you a lot of stage positioning and essentially always throws them off stage. So that's really, really cool. Finally, though, we have down throw. This, of course, is combo throws I've been showing you guys up to this point. Down throw into up air or down throw into forward air are kind of the main two things. As well, you can go down throw into up tilt at 0%, I'm pretty sure, for most characters. Yep, as you see right there. Down throw up tilt against most into up B. A little bit of extra damage. That's pretty cool. Or down throw up air into up B. Or into side B, I guess, if you want. If I can walk a little forward. Yeah, there we go. Side B. True combo, 26%. Nice. As well, you can do stuff like at a certain percent, it's called Majin Airlines, where you go down throw nair, up air, nair, up air, nair, up air, and it'll just move them like all the way across the stage. I think it actually might be up air. Yeah, I think it's nair, up air. But I could not do this for the life of me. So I honestly can't throw that off. If you will look up Majin Airlines online, you might be able to find that. That's a really cool combo that can lead into a down air at certain percents, get tons of damage, to potentially kill. I can't do it. But it's there, and down throw is just one of those throws that if you want to get a combo, you know, essentially just free damage off this move if you combo into other moves. But anyways, there you guys go. That's kind of all my ideas about this character. Sorry that this video took so long. I didn't really want to do this video for a long time because I thought it would take forever, and it did take forever. Sorry if you're one of those sad souls that watched all the way through this, but I hope you guys enjoyed because, you know, I really want to share more about this character because I think he looks so freaking cool and he's so hard to get into, and hopefully this helped you guys. I probably won't be doing an advanced video on this character because, you know, this already took forever. But hope you guys enjoyed. As always, leave a like or comment down below who you want to see next. I probably won't be doing Ryu for a while, but if you want to play Ryu, just keep in mind the majority of stuff Ken has, and then just keep in mind that he has less combos and does a little bit more damage per hit and kills a little early with the Shoryuken, and you can kind of decide which one you want to play based off that. As always, guys, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe if you want to see more like this in the future. And as always, have a smashing day. Boo!